Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Doctor Who Reviews. We have officially reached the end of the mess that is Trial of a Time Lord, thank God. So we are looking at the final part of the trial, which is the Ultimate Foe, and to discuss the Ultimate Foe with me, my two usual special guests. Firstly, to my virtual left, he went to Grand Beach instead of Grand Bank, and he came back old! It's Freezing Inferno.
Hey everybody.
You're right, that was a good introduction. I'm glad you came up with it.
Yes, you're welcome.
I wonder if you came up with this one as well. And to my virtual right, fool me once, fool me twice. Is she death or paradise? Let's find out. It's Kat.
Both.
Yeah.
Can't believe that film is
Both is
finally
good.
coming out this week. We've waited. It feels like we've waited like 84 years for the next Bond film to come out, and it's finally here.
Oh my god. So, Ultimate Foe, the finale of the trial. And, well, on the face of it, I don't know what y'all thought. We'll find out as we go, but I just think I just want to finally launch into the behind the scenes of the end of the trial.
Oh, please do, because if it's as much of a mess as it appeared on screen.
I have my tea, I have some snacks. Please start the story.
If this is as much of a mess as it appeared to be on screen, behind the scenes, it explains a lot, so please go ahead.
I will say for the viewers, if this is your introduction to our talk of Trial of the Time Lord, you should definitely check out the episodes we did on the previous 3 parts first, because there's a lot of continuity and callback, because this is the finale of a long-running serial. So check those out, Rainy Uncle Lincoln. But right, so we've alluded to in the past the fact that Robert Holmes started the trial, he finished The Mysterious Planet, and then he started working on this story, which was going to be the finale. So he got so much of it done, he had ideas laid out, he had a general plan, some first draft stuff, and then he got sick and died. It's very tragic. So the script editor, Eric Sayward, who looked up to Holmes as a mentor, then he had to take over and finish the script and do his things, and so he did it, and it went in a different direction. And what ended up happening was, well, basically the ending that Holmes and co. agreed on was sort of a Reichenbach Falls situation, where the Doctor and the Valeyard struggle and fight, and they fall through and I know Kat's going to hit the button, but this is how they describe it. They fall into a time vent.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you were going to go...
No, just because you said it doesn't mean I'm going to do it. I mean, sometimes I feel like you guys treat me like a one-trick pony. Like, all I'm good for is just my soundboard, and honestly, I found that...
I was waiting for it.
I knew you were building up to doing it.
As soon as you started protesting, I knew it.
You're not just a soundboard, Kat. You're a soundboard and a good friend.
A soundboard and an angry person who also happens to be a good friend.
And someone who knows my address, so I should be careful.
Yes.
But, so, this situation, this Reichenbach Falls, it was basically ending on a cliffhanger. Oh no, how will the Doctor get out of this one next season? And, well, the producer objected. Because, after building up a trial, after the fact that they were, on the verge of cancellation and coming back, ending on a cliffhanger, the producer felt, would have given Michael Gray, or whoever the BBC, the perfect out to cancel the show outright. And so he was like, no, you can't do that. And Sayward was like, I want to do that because Robert Holmes just died and I respected him that much, and you're wrong about the ending. So the way it's been framed in ancillary material is that the producer was protecting the series, but Sayward was protecting Holmes's legacy, and the series had to win. So Eric Sayward quit. But in quitting, he also withdrew the rights for what he'd written. And so Pip and Jane Baker, the people who wrote Terror of the Vervoids, got a call from the producer. And they were, and he was like, I'm sending you down a script. Can you come into the BBC tomorrow morning and have a meeting with me? So they got the script, they read it, and they're like, okay, well, that's the end of the trial. I don't know why we're reading this. And then they come to the BBC, and the producer's there, and the lawyer's there. And he explains, you have to write me a script in 3 days, and you have to finish the trial, and this lawyer is here as a witness, because I legally cannot tell you anything that was in Sayward's concept of the trial.
Oh my goodness.
So, so Pip and Jane Baker had like a weekend to bang out the ultimate foe. The fact that we got something transmitted at all is something of a small miracle.
Not even apparently just Ultimate Foe. From what I'm reading, it looks like they just did part 14.
Yeah. I think they did some of part 13 too, like half of it maybe.
Knowing that, I have even more admiration for them now.
Yeah.
Don't we also have to talk about the fact that shortly after this, the Dr. Colin Baker.
Well, we'll talk about that part at the end of the story.
Yeah, that's a good way to finish it rather than now.
But I just want to explain, and it's almost sad, really. This was, as we kept saying, this was their great big relaunch. As we went into in the Mindboard podcast last week, this was supposed to be their great big relaunch, but it was just conceptually flawed all the way down. And then you had just the unexpected tragedy of Holmes dying, but also at the same time, it's like y'all had months. You couldn't plan it out with more than one guy?
Okay, I'm sorry, but I'm just laughing over here because with the exception of Holmes dying, may he rest in peace, you just basically described the 13th Doctor's run.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I mean, and of
I
course,
know we keep saying that she's getting Colin Baker, but holy crap.
and I mean, I have to bring it up again, even though it's well trodden at this point, but there was the talk show that aired in 1986 after the final episode where they brought on Doctor Who fans and they all described it how, well, it wasn't as good as it could have been. It was pretty traditional, routine. It was all confusing.
And then one young boy in the back said, "One day I'll do better." And then he proceeded
one young boy in the back said that Terror of the Vervoids was routine, standard, stock Doctor Who, and that young fan's name was Christian.
And so much is explained in that one interaction.
See, I think I figured out the reason why the UK banned guns, because then he would have been shot on sight.
Okay. So, with all that in mind, the fact that this was a desperate rush job that actually manages to be somewhat coherent in parts. How
Somewhat coherent.
In parts,
How coherent we'll discuss. Let's get into the ultimate foe. So, previously, at the end of Terror of the Vervoids, the Doctor showed his future adventure to prove that he would get better. In doing so, he accidentally reveals that in the future, he will commit genocide against the Vervoids, and is thus just immediately charged with said genocide. So we open from that with someone called the Keeper entering the courtroom because of all the objections about the Matrix being tampered with. And this is proof positive that the right hand didn't know what the left was doing, because the Doctor is right back to those stupid goddamn puns, Brickyard and Scrapyard and shit. After Mind Warp was literally like, Doctor, cut that out, because the right...
Well, to be fair, there was a story in between, so...
Yeah, there were two stories. Yeah, there was a story in between, but also, like, consistency. So, we get the Keeper
Consistency in Doctor Who? How dare you?
So we've got the Keeper of the Matrix here to testify that, the Matrix can't be tampered with whatsoever. I have the only key. So, and the Valeyard's just like, see, you're wrong, Doctor. You're just trying to cover your ass. And it's like, actually, the Valeyard's a lying little bitch, and the Matrix has totally been fucked with. But the Matrix totally can't be fucked with, ever. But I don't remember shit happening like that. Therefore, the evidence was distorted. So, we go on that. And then, some capsules are beamed on board the station. We get the model shot again because fucking they paid like half the budget for it.
Well, yeah, they paid for it. But before we get to the capsules, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
So, I sadly do not remember Time in the Ronnie all that well.
Yeah.
Did they ever say exactly when the Doctor goes on the whole Terror of the Vervoids thing?
No, because
Was there any time between trial and time in Ronnie for him to go on the
Yes.
Vervoids thing?
Yes,
there
there
was
was.
lots of time. I mean, there's big
Okay, just
finish
making sure.
gaps.
Big Finish plugs the gap. Big Finish plugs the gap.
Yeah.
Okay,
so,
I'm just making sure because, like I said, I really don't remember how Time in the Ronnie began, other than the fact that he fell down and clonked his head, and that's apparently how he died.
I wonder if we'll get into the reason why Time in the Run began like that.
I'll talk more about that when we finished off Ultimate Foe.
Eventually,
but,
eventually.
Yeah.
But it just seems kind of funny to me that they had the whole thing about Terror of the Vervoids, and then, just the next episode, clonk, he's dead.
Well, yeah. That's executive decision for you. So these capsules, out of one comes the reason we're doing this story. The late Tony Selby. He's actually gone this time.
May he rest in peace.
So he pops out of the cabinet, and all of a sudden there's banging on the other cabinet. He's like, "Dibber," his sidekick from the Mysterious Planet. What's wrong with your voice? I'm not Dibber. It's Mel.
I kind of wish they brought Dibber back, but I understand why they didn't.
Oh yeah, well, Mel is better for this, but yeah. So the two of them have been beaten onto the Time Lord trial station, and convenient because now the Inquisitor's saying, "Well, Doctor, you need to have some witnesses to prove what you're saying. That how you describe things really happened." It's like, but all my companions are scattered across time and space. However, am I going to find them? Which, I mean, we just learned that the Doctor got time scooped out of Thoros Beta just before he was about to, solve the story. But, well, we don't need to worry about that because here are two convenient witnesses for you. Let's know. Well, how about that? But wait a minute.
It's almost as if it was completely planned by somebody who constantly escapes or something.
Oh, but who could that be? Oh my God! It's the Master.
Of course, because you
With
had
a
to
really
get him
bad
involved.
green screen effect. Yay!
You had to get him involved in this mess.
I love Colin Baker's reaction. He's like, "Oh, shit. Oh no."
Now I really am finished.
Ah, fuck! Not this guy again.
But actually, it's the opposite, because the Master is here to help.
Well, to help in his own way.
Oh, he's helping himself too, but he is helping.
He is help. Yeah, it's the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So.
Yeah.
So
and we also find out that he took the red pill and he decided to enter the Matrix.
Yeah. So there's his proof. He's like, I'm in here. You can fuck with it. It can be fucked with.
He had a very good copy made of the key.
I have a copy of a key. Woo!
He's been watching the trial, just giggling to himself. They're playing that which works better as a meta aspect, I think, than the mind warp wink and nods. That the Master's just like, well, I've been watching, but now I have to intervene to make this shit good and entertaining. And the Valeyard is immediately like, Sagacity, we need to adjourn immediately. And she's like,
what? A Time Lord interfering in something that's none of his business?
Yeah.
Coming soon to Big Finish, Trial of the Master.
There's a great line where
it's been done.
There's a great line where Mel is proving that she's a credible witness, and she's like, I'm truthful, honest, and boring as they come. Like, wow.
Yeah, because they say, oh well, Sebulon Glitz is a criminal. He can't be trusted. And Glitz gets a great moment here where he's about to start testifying for the Doctor, and he's distracted by the courtroom.
How much is this mahogany worth? Oh, wow.
And he tries to do a deal with the Inquisitor for parts of the courtroom.
And the Doctor's like, Glitz, we gotta focus on the thing at hand. So,
You know what would have been really funny though was if he was like, we gotta focus, and then he turns back to Glitz and he has like a chisel and a hammer in his hand, like, oh, okay.
God, that would be him. So, the Doctor starts to cross-examine Glitz, and we find out what was being censored back in the Mysterious Planet. This is Robert Holmes actually paying off on what the threads he set up. So in Mysterious Planet, Glitz was after this box of secrets. And inside, as we find out now in his testimony, was a bunch of scientific stuff that the people of Andromeda were taking from the Time Lord Matrix for years. And they operated from planet Earth as cover for their sneaking around. And because they eventually knew the Time Lords would trace the leak. And they did. And the Time Lords moved Earth so that Andromeda's stuff would, so that Andromeda's scout ships would pass by without getting the secrets.
There's just one problem with that. When they moved Earth, they also caused a massive fireball to strike the Earth, which burned up pretty much everything in existence.
Oops.
And created the situation as we saw in Mysterious Planet. And the Mysterious Planet was renamed Ravelox by all official records, for Time Lord records, to cover their tracks, because the authorization of the thing used to move the planet, a magnetron, the Doctor says, could only be done by the High Council.
Hey kids, have you been enjoying, the trial of the Time Lord? You haven't? Well, guess what? This one features political intrigue.
Yay!
It was an inside job all along, and Gallifrey's secret
behind it all.
So Time Lords move the planet. It gets burned in the solar fireball. The recovery mission for the secrets speeds past where Earth should have been. And the Gallifrey secrets are saved. Earth is renamed Ravelox to cover up all those dirty deeds. The hypocritical Time Lords cover their tracks. And they would have gotten away with it if the Doctor hadn't randomly showed up on the planet.
Oops.
And when he did, after some more meddling, better put him on trial because he's meddling in illegal secrets.
May I take this next bit?
Go wild.
Because this is probably the highlight for me of the Ultimate Foe, is this little speech here.
The speech is... This is one of Colin Baker's finest speeches, I would say.
This deserved to be in a better story.
Even going out,
yeah.
this lays the groundwork for Big Finish. This proves Colin Baker was not bad. Just his writing.
No, he's fantastic in this.
He can act his socks off. I mean, damn.
So he's struggling with the revelation of what's happened to Earth/Ravelox, and he just turns on the Time Lords here, and he says, and I've got it written down in full here, so I'll try and do it justice. In all my travels I have battled against evil, power-mad conspirators. I should have stayed here. The older civilization, decadent, degenerate, and rotten to the core. Power-mad conspirators, Daleks, Sontarans, Cybermen. They're still in the nursery compared to us. 10 million years of absolute power. That's what it takes to be really corrupt.
It's so good.
It's poetry.
Like you're Colin Baker
Wraps up the UK in a nice little bow.
Cats.
I mean, the Time Lords. Sorry,
Cats.
I got confused.
Hey,
I'm not
Colin
in the mood
Baker.
for this.
Let me talk about Colin Baker then, right? So, Colin Baker's Doctor in TV, he's been given material that gives him righteous indignation, but more often than not, the writers usually like, what if he had righteous indignation because Harry said some snide comment and he went off on her? How dare you say that to me? But here they're like, oh, wait, we could actually do that and give Colin Baker his cool righteous indignation acting, but for a real dramatic cause instead of just negging Perry because, we're dark and gritty.
Oh my gosh, it's almost like you have the Doctor actually act like the Doctor rather than as an ignorant twat.
And just as we're getting hyped up, we get the big reveal. I don't know if you two knew this part coming into the trial. The
About the
revelation.
Valeyard? Yeah.
I knew parts of it, yes.
I think you guys told me about it.
Probably. But, so the Master exposits a bit, and there's just like, well, they took full advantage of you bumbling onto Ravelox, Doctor, the High Council. They made a deal with the Valeyard, or as I know him, the Doctor, to adjust the evidence, and in return, get your remaining regenerations.
How casually does he drop this revelation?
I know, right?
And the Valeyard tries to interject, and Colin Baker's just like, hold. Did you just call him the Doctor?
Hold on, moi.
And the Master gets a good line. It's like, there's evil in all of us, Doctor, even you. And the Valeyard is an amalgamation of the dark side of your nature, somewhere between your 12th and final incarnation. Now, Robert Holmes he came up with one line to explain. He invented the regeneration limit of 13. Really, he just did it because he needed to explain how the Master was back after Roger Delgado died. And he's like, okay, he looks like a skeleton because 13 Time Lord lives or something. I don't know. And that became gospel and canon as Deadly Assassin became classic. And then, Moffat had to write Time of the Doctor to get around it. And then Chibnall wrote The Timeless Children and completely.
We don't talk about that here.
But yeah.
We don't talk about how someone single-handedly managed to bumble the entire, legacy and lore of the Doctor.
In 1986, 12th and Final Incarnation would read between 12 and 13. The 12th and 13th Doctors somehow. But, now it's like, where the fuck does that go? Like, you could retroactively slot in, I don't know, the Time Lord Victorious or something. I mean, the great intelligence in the name of the Doctor mentions the Valeyard, but
he does.
Who knows where the fuck?
As does Testimony in Twice Upon a Time.
Who knows where?
I mean, honestly, if I had to say so, I would say it may have been a time where, part of the Doctor was removed, and then that part of the Doctor got some regeneration energy, and then that part of the Doctor was essentially banished to live off with Rose Tyler or something like that. But they couldn't see that far into the future.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you can weld it into modern continuity in a number of ways, but they had no idea. In 1986, it was just
Yeah.
Hey,
all I'm saying is, if they had done it with the quote-unquote second 10th Doctor, that would have kind of been cool because, maybe he regenerated into the Valeyard and he went all Time Lord victorious.
There's a comic or something where he's a baddie. I'm not sure, but yeah. So
I don't know, but it's not our job to explain the Valeyard.
As of 1986, they're reading it as a future incarnation of the Doctor who went bad, I think.
Yeah.
I take it that it's just his dark side.
And also, for very many reasons, the Valeyard is very explicitly a dark mirror of the Sixth Doctor. And you can hit the button if you want.
Oh, very well. This time.
Doctor Who Mirror Alert! Whoop, 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 whoop. Going with the classic button to vary it up. I like that.
Oh, yeah. I have both. I might as well use both.
Oh, yeah. Well, in 6 months, we'll make a hat trick, and I'll make a new one for something.
Great. Can hardly wait for that.
Oh, boy, my favorite. But, yeah.
I am determined to use them all in this one episode.
So the Doctor's like, this trial should end immediately. I mean, there's no way the same person could be prosecutor and defendant.
He has a point.
But the Inquisitor's is also like, no, actually, we got to see this trial to the end no matter what. So, yeah, keep going. But luckily...
we got a word from the writers. They got to eat, so we're going to continue.
We got a word from the Valeyard, and it's... See ya!
He just runs.
He does. He just flees in the confusion.
And he enters the Matrix. So the Doctor goes after him, and Glitz is going to follow. And this, around here, I think, when the Doctor enters the Matrix, is pretty much the point at which Robert Holmes and Eric Saward tap out, and the Pip and Jane Baker come in.
That would make a lot of sense.
It's a little obvious, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is the cutoff point where the material that Holmes wrote before he died cuts to Pip and Jane Baker, where Saward's story would have branched off from here. I don't know the exact details offhand of what he was doing, but it did have this Victoriana setting, so I guess they had the sets built, so they had to use the setting anyway. So they were like, yeah, you can use a Victorian setting, but I can't tell you anything about it. I mean, Holmes using a Victorian setting makes sense, because after all, he did write...
Yeah.
So going back to that well, speaking, it's not a well, but we enter the Matrix. It's all dark and dingy. The Valeyard's creepy laughter is echoing. And the Doctor looks in the barrel, and hands can pull him down and try to drown him.
Thankfully, though, the Doctor now knows Kung Fu.
Thankfully, Glitz shows up.
Yeah, Glitz arrives a little later. This is a running theme with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't know about you two, but it's a little weird that Glitz is even here, because the Doctor kind of drags him in but leaves Mel behind, and that makes no sense to me.
He might be protecting Mel.
Yeah. Also, Mel gets left behind to try and sort out the trial.
And he doesn't really know much about Mel because she's from his future.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how trustworthy. Well, he knows she's trustworthy. How useful she might be in a situation. He knows that Glitz at least can handle himself.
Knows because
he does
mention. He does mention that about her perfect recall ability.
And also, he watched Terror of the Vervoids.
True, but she's still in his future.
So he does know. Well, he knows by then she can.
Watching it's one thing,
but just the fact that the Doctor sat down and watched an episode of Doctor Who is still funny to me.
I mean, the entire trial was a bunch of Time Lords sitting down and watching episodes of Doctor Who, and every 5 minutes going, "Oh wow, that was objectionable." No, it wasn't. Yes, it was. Gentlemen, will you shut up?
The most lame version of riff tracks ever.
You can't fight in here. This is the war room.
So the Matrix is a deadly dream world with lots of surreal, dare I say, gonzo traps, where if you die in the dream, you die for real. And again, this is a Robert Holmes playground because we haven't covered the Deadly Assassin, but an episode and a half of that four-parter was set entirely in the Matrix, just beating the shit out of Tom Baker and having weird shit happen to him, trying to kill him.
Is this the same set or?
No. The Deadly Assassin was basically just in a quarry and then a swamp. So.
Okay, so they just decide not to dress up the quarry in Wales and just decide to go with it. Okay.
Yeah. No, they saved the quarry for time in the round.
Because I have to say, knowing what I do about the fact that this was near the end of Colin Baker's run, and the whole thing where they didn't exactly have the greatest budget, it kind of feels like they found a movie set and just decided to sneak in late at night and use it.
Yeah, I mean the night shooting really works for the atmosphere, and then you've got where they're looking for the Valeyard, and they find the Fantasy Factory.
Just the idea of Colin Baker in his coat.
This whole section is just weird.
Just the idea of Colin Baker in his coat, climbing over a fence to make sure there's no security, and just wandering into the film set at night.
So, yeah, the Fantasy Factory. Can we just talk about this giant? I mean, it almost is like it's a light show version of Colin Baker's coat.
Yeah, it is.
And so they come here to go find the Valeyard, and up on the balcony, all of a sudden, Glitz just gets a goddamn spear in his chest.
This harpoon looks very rubbery.
Boing.
They don't even hide the fact it's rubber.
And here's where we get a retcon.
Oh, dear.
Look, Rain, they spent all the budget on the wire clippers that they needed to be able to get through the fence to get to the set. They had no budget left for a real harpoon.
True. I just find it interesting that the Matrix features prominently in the story when one of the major complaints that people had about the Matrix Reloaded, remember that scene with Neo and all the different Smiths, he's fighting them off, the Burly Brawl?
I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about because there was only one Matrix and then the Animatrix.
The pole in that sequence looks so foam rubber.
I watched all the Matrix movies a while back, and
you watched both of them?
Yeah. Well, no. And they exist.
Ignoring the fact that they're coming out with another one?
Yeah. Have you seen Rise of Skywalker?
I actually kind of vibed with Reloaded.
Because having seen Rise of Skywalker, suddenly Reloaded and Revolutions aren't that bad compared to...
Yeah, somehow the Matrix has returned.
Reloaded was fine. It had some decent action. I kind of liked that the CGI didn't work as well. It hadn't aged gracefully, but I actually kind of
Reloaded has both one of the worst fight sequences ever and one of the best fight sequences ever somehow.
See, I would have been more fine with it if it wasn't for all the Neo is Jesus sort of allegation.
Well, a lot of that is in Revolutions, and that's just like
the Burly Brawl. The Burly Brawl is a terrible fight sequence because it relies too heavily on CGI and it's just a confusing mess. The Chateau fight sequence is brilliant.
I kind of like the Burly Brawl fight.
And they're both in the same film somehow.
I like the whole thing with the three-way, but we're talking about Wachkowski Sisters.
Oh yeah,
this
this ends the not Doctor Who movie review.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna go back to the Doctor Who.
Okay, so
Glitz is alive because his body armor or his what was it, Postilion 7 life preserver.
Actually, before we get to that reveal, we get, as I said, a retcon. Now, when we did Mind Warp and got to that grody ending where Brian Blessed had to shoot Perry, who had her brain replaced with a slug, Kat asked me if that was the true final end of Perry. I said no, and here's where we learn the truth. The master tells us most of what we saw in the trial was true, but Perry didn't die. She's now married to King Yrkanos as his queen.
You know what? I kind of wish she had stayed dead.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about this too. I mean, on the one hand,
she
gets to live.
Made that same joke at. He was like, "Well, you can argue what's worse, being turned into a slug or being married to Brian Blessed."
No, being married to Brian Blessed is a blessed thing. Part of the pun.
As long as you have earplugs.
Being relegated down to just a clip show, in order to be able to explain where she literally got poochied.
Can you imagine? Yrkanos comes back after a big hunt. Honey, I'm home.
Oh my god. So yeah, Glitz is fine. He has body armor, and the master explains what his motivation is. The High Council.
Terry goes to the doctor. Doctor, I've been having trouble hearing things lately, and he takes one look at her husband. It's like, yeah, I can tell.
So the master, he goes into the High Council set up the whole trial to get all the conspiracy stuff, and the master, his whole thing is he wants one or both of the Doctor and Valeyard to off each other, and he also wants to shake the High Council's foundations to their very core with scandal, just for shits and giggles.
Might as well.
Anyway, speaking of Victoriana, the Doctor and Glitz head into the Fantasy Factory and meet bureaucracy.
I kind of like
and
this guy.
Forms.
I kind of like Popplewick. I'm sorry, I just do.
I do too. All of him.
I guess this is a concept that they had to work with because they already cast the guy. I don't know how this. I don't know how the final writing of Robert Holmes and the Pip and Jane bits sync up. But maybe I don't know who invented Popplewick, but it feels Robert Holmesian. This is the man who had to do double taxes and wrote a story where he threw a taxman off the roof. After all.
Can I just say also, this scene is hilarious to me for one reason, and that's the fact that you have brown desk, brown surroundings, Glitz is mostly dark muted colors, and then you have this clown.
Yeah.
In a rainbow coat.
Yeah.
It looks so out of place, and it's hilarious.
So there's all forms and bureaucracy, and then the Doctor's like, hell with this, and he heads into the office anyway, and it's just another secretary.
There are three Popplewicks. Popplewick Senior, Popplewick Junior, and Popplewick Very Junior.
I love this because it's very clearly the same guy, but he just has different hair each time.
Yeah.
I love it.
And Poppy Brothers Senior, who you can suck up to get the bomb ability. Wait. Shit.
Oh my god, it is. It is.
Dr. I watched Ultimate Foe confirmed.
No. No, he can't because nobody trips.
Well, actually, wait. They do in part 14.
Damn it. A perfectly good joke ruined by the truth.
So, Popplewick Seniors, they're trying to see the proprietor, Mr. J.J. Chambers, who's very particular about appointments. And when the Doctor asks how to expedite the process, he gets a form to sign away his remaining regenerations in the event of his untimely death. Which he does. He's like, oh, well, if the value wants me to sign away my lives of. And he signs them away. Oh, excellent. Do that done. The Doctor walks through, and he's on a beach.
Yeah, he goes into the waiting room and then just ends up on a beach alone with no Glitz.
And then he turns around and M. Night Shyamalan's there.
Oh no! Look out, Doctor! You're gonna become old! Like
Old!
me! Like me! I went to the Grand Beach! So,
The beach makes you regenerate.
The final cliffhanger... The final cliffhanger of the Colin Baker era, then, is the Valeyard laughing and taunting, and hands coming out of the sand to drag the Doctor down into the muddy sand. And he's wiggling around. Colin Baker is obviously, like, wiggling himself down in the goop.
Yeah, that's a little obvious, but it's
But,
not
he's sinking, and it's like, you're going to die, Doctor. And Colin Baker's like, no.
I do know that there was a lot of problems filming this sequence because it's basically a pit of water and mud.
Yeah.
Like they feel like was it like a 4 meter pool or something?
Wait, are you trying to tell me that they essentially put Colin Baker in some actual quicksand?
No.
Yeah?
Well,
not quicksand.
mud and water's not quicksand, is it?
Yeah.
Well, no, but it still would be sort of like it.
But it does mean that when he comes out of it later on, they had to do that bit backwards and they had to film it 3 times.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second here. So, the final part of the Trial of a Time Lord. Glitz shows up, tries to pull the Doctor free, accidentally just pulls the spats off one of his shoes.
His feet sticking out of the sand is unintentionally hilarious.
And he thinks, and Glitz is like, "Oh, Doctor, he was such a fine man." And then the Doctor's voice is gurgling up from beyond the sand. And Glitz is like, "Oh, God, no." And it's like, a voice from the grave. A grave voice. And then the shot you mentioned, where the Doctor rises out of the mud, completely dry.
It's like, really... I'm sorry, but I have to show you guys what this kind of reminded me of, with the Doctor's feet kicking in the air.
Oh, God. Are we getting a SpongeBob meme?
We might be.
I wish.
What the heck? Oh, yes!
Just,
Yeah, kinda.
Except not sure really, that when we did Terror of the Vervoids, I was blasting Big Green Mother from outer space.
That was me.
Oh, okay, you did. Then I did it along with you.
I mean, yes.
It's such a good movie.
It was a good movie. It was a good movie. Director's cut ending, best ending. Fight me.
Yes, agreed.
So the whole point of this is that the Matrix is not real. So therefore, with enough effort and force of will, the Doctor can basically deny all of its traps and pitfalls.
Which he was trying to do before he was pulled out of the sand. Anyway, he rises up, and then the Valeyard starts teleporting around and taunting the Doctor.
And quoting Hamlet.
Yeah. The Undiscovered Country. The 3rd best Star Trek movie?
I mean, I've never seen a Star Trek movie, so...
Oh, we should do that sometime in the show.
I've seen the reboot.
We have to make you watch Wrath of Khan. That's like one of the very best.
We have to make you watch the one with the whales.
I reject that reality and substitute it for my own where I haven't watched it. So...
The whales one, maybe not, but he has to watch Wrath of Khan.
And the whales one is fucking hilarious.
And we get an explanation why the Valeyard is trying so hard to kill the Doctor here. He's basically trying to complete himself. If he kills the Doctor, he removes that side of his personality, and so I suppose the implication is that he's being torn apart from inside, like the different parts of his conscience are fighting for control of him, which they would later expand in another Time Lord villain called the 11 in Big Finish.
And there's also I don't know how we're going to roll with this, but spoilers for. Do you care about spoilers for the Missy sets? I think we talked about a little bit of that.
I know of them.
We talked about this a little in the Emergency Russell T Davies podcast from the other day, but so spoilers for Missy Series 2. There's an audio called the Lumiat.
I thought you were going to bring this
up.
A time
lady called the Lumiat keeps spoiling Missy's plans, and it turns out the Lumiat is her own mirror image of the Valeyard, in that it's a incarnation of the Master who used some sort of technobabble to eliminate all the evil from themselves, and become good.
Did someone say mirror?
Doctor Who Mirror Alert. Doctor Who Mirror Alert.
How long were you
Anyway,
waiting on that?
Oh yeah. Well, Captain
Told you
know
I was
was
gonna
going to
get
do
him in.
that. Yeah. Anyway, at the end of the story, the Lumiat is going to regenerate, presumably back into an evil, in an antagonistic incarnation, which it was written before Spyfall, yet almost perfectly fucking fits into the Missy Dewan gap with more thematic resonance than the Chibnall era.
Retroactively, it's perfectly fit for that.
A good, yeah, you can imagine Missy using this technobabble thing at the end of Dr. Falls and becoming the Lumiat.
Missy dies, becomes the Lumiat. The Lumiat is killed by Missy and becomes Dewan's master.
Ah.
Can you do one favor for me and spell out what her name is?
Lumiat.
Okay, thank you.
I think it means enlightened.
It was good audio, but yeah. So that's that's some fun big finish thing going on. But yeah, the Valeyard wants to be complete, and so has to defeat Colin Baker to do so. And so once he teleports away, oh hey, is that the fog coming in because it's England? Oh no, it's deadly nerve gas.
Yeah, and this is real. This isn't like some fabrication of the Matrix. This gas is real somehow. So they run away.
And they run into a handy shack, which also happens to be the Master's TARDIS.
It's a beach hut, but yes. And back in the courtroom, Mel's bit here is kind of amazing. They're just watching this all happen, and they're like, why aren't you doing something? Oh, we're Time Lords, we can't interfere. And Mel's like, well, the hell with this. And the keeper just trips her up.
There you go, Sakurai did watch it.
Yes. Again, a perfectly good joke ruined by the truth.
So the Master welcomes the Doctor to his TARDIS, and the Doctor's like, well, I never thought I'd be glad to see you. Oh, next time you won't, Doctor, but either way, we want the Valeyard eliminated. And Glitz is like, hang on, I thought you wanted the Doctor to croak. And it's like, well, you know, a goody two-shoes like the Doctor I can handle. But the Doctor's dark side? No, I'm not fucking with that. Besides, if he kills you, I won't get the satisfaction of killing you. So, the hell with the Valeyard. I'm not prepared to have a rival, I'm not prepared to lose the satisfaction of killing the Doctor. So he pulls Glitz aside, the Doctor's about to follow, and then the Doctor
Wait, can I do this part?
Go.
So, the Master, he basically says, we're gonna go get something. He walks off with Glitz, and then they activate something that just basically puts a mirror in front of the Doctor and shows him his own coat. Because he's got a Technicolor Dreamcast going on his face.
Hey, Cat, you said the magic word.
Oh yeah, you're right, I did.
Doctor Who football alert. Goal, 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 goal.
What the fuck?
I didn't even remember I made that one.
I got 3 of these.
You got the hat trick after all.
Yay!
I wasn't aware this had been made.
Well, remember back when England was in the World Cup and you guys horribly lost?
Like, absolutely.
Yeah, we lost terribly 1-0. Or in fact, it was a penalty. It was a penalty shootout. But...
Frez and I made a pact that if you guys won, was it if they won, we would play that on the show?
I think so, considering he'd never heard it before.
Yeah. And then if you lost, obviously we would do what we did on the actual show itself.
Yes, I don't remember it being played before, but maybe it was. Anyway, yeah, so it's a betrayal. It's a sudden but inevitable betrayal.
The Doctor gets brain blasted again and put in a catatonic state. And the Master's plan is to send this entranced Doctor out as bait for the Valeyard.
I would love if somebody took this scene, but then instead of the music the thing that does assault his ears, they put in the music from Danganronpa V3.
Almighty. So the Doctor gets set out as bait, the Valeyard comes out, and the Master gets ready to shoot him with lasers, and they just bounce off him. And then the Valeyard attacks.
Sorry, all I can think about now is the Doctor gets hypnotized and they cut away, and then they cut back to him, and all he can faintly hear is something like
Oh God!
You would attempt to get these sound clips in.
Look, I have so many now. You don't even know.
Doesn't mean you have to use them all.
Yes, it does.
Quality rather than quantity, but yeah. So
The Master tries to counterattack the Valeyard, attack the Valeyard with lasers. They bounce off him, and the Valeyard counterattacks with exploding quill pens.
yeah, which is both hilarious and also a neat little nod to something that happens a bit later on.
Yeah.
A little clue, if you will. Just remember that.
The Valeyard's like, ah, you suck, Master. Holy shit. So, the Doctor is just about he's almost snapped out. As he's snapping out, Mel comes. And she came to save the Doctor. And she's like, you've got to come back to the trial room, because until you clear your name, you're no better than the Valeyard. And so he agrees, and they come out of the Matrix, back into the trial room. And we get Evan, and Mel gives her testimony regarding the end of Terror of the Vervoids, where previously in the climax of the story, they use the rare magnesium-like metal Vianesium to emit bright light that would make the Vervoids live out a bunch of seasons in an instant, and just turn into so much as autumn leaves on the hull of a spaceship.
And then Mel brings up the footage of the Doctor playing Undertale, where he went on the genocide route, but he didn't actually defeat Sans. It's fine. He's not tainted in game yet.
Oh my God. Danganronpa and Undertale referenced in the same podcast. What are we doing? So
Yeah.
Ruining our lives.
And Mel mentions all this, and she's like, "Well, but you refuted the charge of genocide, Doctor. No, Mel, it's okay. Give your testimony." And she does. She doesn't want the truth twisted like the Valeyard did, but like the Valeyard. She mentioned she doesn't want the truth twisted just like the Valeyard did. So the Doctor's like, "It's okay, Mel. The truth can't hurt me." And so she gives her testimony, and well, it doesn't look good for the Doctor. I mean, even though there's always a choice. He could have let her die. He meddled. He killed other Vervoids. Guilty is charged. Summary execution. And Mel is like, "No, Doctor." And the Doctor's like, I accept the charges. We have to follow the rule of the law, Mel. I have to accept my death with quiet dignity and grace. And then, as we pull back, we realize we're still in the Matrix.
yeah, we cut to the Time Lords watching the trial inside the trial.
This is way too meta. And Mel is like, "Oh my God, this is terrible. He thinks that's the real trial room. Oh, what are we gonna do?" And then she goes for the key again. She grabs the key off of the keeper's head and runs into the Matrix.
Oh, you've forgotten the best bit about that.
What's that?
The keeper smirks like he's going to trip her again. She just stamps on his foot and grabs the key off him.
And takes off. So the Valeyard is tricking the Doctor into accepting his execution. Dun dun. And Mel wants no part of it and is gonna save the Doctor.
Here she comes to save the day, which didn't need to be saved.
Yeah. The Doctor's like, "Mel, go away." She's like, "Doctor, it was a trick. It's not real." And the cart he was on back in Victorian land vanishes. And he's like, "God damn it, Mel. I saved you. I knew it was a trick." "But how did you know?" "Because you have perfect recall. And you mentioned shit that you couldn't have possibly known. Like the fact that the Doctor refuted the charge of genocide, or the fact that the Valeyard was fucking with things.
And also the fact that she wasn't there for that scene.
Yeah. So it's actually some pretty clever foreshadowing. Clues are there because, I mean, after all, Pip and Jane Baker did write the Vervoids, and that was basically an Agatha Christie story in space. So
And it was good.
So they've got the whole, foreshadowing mystery stuff down. They can do it.
Yeah.
And Mel
It's
wouldn't
too
have
bad it
known.
was in this episode.
Yeah.
So
Which, don't get me wrong, I still love Colin Baker, but holy crap, the trial is so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is one of the least. This is one of the less worst parts of it. I would suggest. But
I would say Vervoids is the
Vervoids.
least
It's probably
worst part.
Vervoids, Mysterious Planet, this, and then Mind Warp. Actually,
Yeah.
maybe swap Mysterious Planet and this, but
Actually, you know what? My warp isn't even on the list.
So-
It's that bad.
So, yeah. Blitz and the Master make it better. Yeah.
Okay,
Blitz
I
and
love
the
this
Master
bit.
make it
I love
back
this little
together.
bit where
Go ahead.
the Master tells Glitz, "I want you to lead the Doctor to the Valeyard," and Glitz is like, "What? What? Why am I doing that? That's stupid." So then he starts to hypnotize him, as he's hypnotized so many other people, and it appears to work.
He's using a crystal on a pen, like
Yeah.
a crystal chain,
But
swinging
it's
it back and
completely
forth.
ineffective.
Well, it looks like it's working because he starts like slowing down his speech, like, "Oh, what are you talking about?" And
Yeah.
then it's like, "Yeah, good. You're going to listen to me? No, I'm just wondering how much that's worth."
So hypnotism doesn't
I
work
love
on
Glitz.
Glitz, but bribery does.
Oh yeah, he's just like, "Well, for the love of God!" And he just pulls out just a treasure chest filled with jewels and gold coins. It's like, "Here, listen, you can have that if you do this shit."
And then nearly snaps his fingers off when he closes it.
I'm sorry. I just love the fact that the Master's there. He has a treasure chest full of gold and stuff, and his first inclination is, I'm going to hypnotize this dude.
Well, he wants to keep the gold.
But at this point, Blitz and the Master have their own like backup plan, basically.
Yeah, so
Which
they're having
involves,
their own events. They're having their own shenanigans. Meanwhile, the
While the
Doctor's
doc-
gone to Chambers' office again.
With Mel in tow.
Melanie
And,
gets burned to death by the waiting room.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, Mel opens the door and it's Spaceballs the flamethrower.
You know what? I actually heard that he was thinking of making a sequel to that, but calling it the third one,
Oh my god.
which is completely in line with it. And I
It
love
makes sense. That does make
Let's
sense.
see.
If
Meanwhile,
it's
is
true, it might not be true.
Glitz, meanwhile, has found it's those secrets from Ravalox, the master copies that exist in the Matrix.
But he's caught by one of the Popplewicks.
There's actually a cute, subtle little reference here where the Popplewick mentions, and Glitz is like, "Oh my god, they're all here." Yes. Phases 3 through 6 are here. The primitive phases 1 and 2 are in the archive, which has to be a reference to the missing episodes, right?
I think it is, yes, and also that this is not the secrets found on Ravlox were a copy. This is the master tape.
Yeah, master
Yeah,
tape.
seasons 1 and 2 are in the archive just to make sure that the Doctor can't find out that he's actually a timeless child.
Hmm.
Oh boy.
So
Now that I'm angry.
Glitz is there now. Meanwhile, the Doctor has found a list of the judges at the trial, and it's in his own handwriting. What's going on here? And they're all crossed out. This is intriguing.
Yeah.
But then Glitz comes in with Popplewick, essentially at gunpoint.
He has persuaded Popplewick to lead them to J.J. Chambers.
Which, I'm sorry. I hate this part for one simple reason.
Uh-huh.
They're in the Matrix. Everything around them is an illusion. It's fake. What does threatening him with a gun do?
I mean, the gun's real. It came from reality.
Yeah.
Did it?
Yeah, I guess. I think so.
I thought Popplewick had it, and Popplewick, as far as we know, is not real.
No, it's Glitz's gun.
Yeah. Anyway, Glitz clearly he's betraying the Doctor to get those tapes.
Are you sure? Because Popplewick came and had a gun, didn't he? And he pointed it at Glitz, and the Glitz took his gun.
That's after. He points the gun at Glitz after.
I'm pretty sure it was before that.
We're getting near the climax of the trial now. It's wild.
Either way, I'm mad about this because the whole thing with the Matrix keeps flipping between is this real and is this not.
I do like the little touch that somebody, I think it might be Mel, removes the quill from Mr. Popplewick's ear.
I think it's Colin Baker who does it.
Yeah, well, whoever it
He's
is, nice attention to detail. Like, we don't want to have this explode on us, do we? Yoink.
We'll just take
And
that
Glitz
away.
even compliments him on it. It's like, oh, yeah, very keen, Doctor. So Popowick leads. So Blitz heads off with those tape. And Popowick is led by the Doctor and Mel into more industrial works. And he goes to try and find Mr. J.J. Chambers. And the Doctor and Co. are wandering around while he's gone. And he's like, oh, I can't seem to find him. And then they basically tie up Popowick. And we go full Scooby-Doo. It wasn't Popowick at all. Old man Valeyard.
Ruh-roh.
And he would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for that meddling coat.
And he knew straight away that he was him because the performance was too grotesque.
God.
Honestly, I would have known it was him from the fact that he was threatened by a fake gun. But, you know, whatever.
Yeah. While this is going on, we get a nice bit with Popowick, but this is before he's unmasked. But one of the Popowicks and Glitz, so a deal's been made between the two of them. You know, Glitz will get the secrets, and the Doctor will be led to Mr. Chambers. But then Popowick reneges on the deal, pulls a gun or has a gun, and shoots him in the back. And then the next shot is he's caught the bullet.
It's the Matrix. Whoop.
Yeah, I guess he used what the Doctor taught him. To, you know, you can deny it yourself if you force a will. And the rest actually compliments on this. He says, you know, very astute, Glitz. So he takes him into his TARDIS, and we'll see how that goes in a minute. Because he says that's astute, but this gun is all too real. So another gun point. It might be.
See, I told you. Even the Master's like the gun you have is not real.
True. But anyway,
so fuck you. I was right.
Okay,
he took the gun from
okay, fuck me. You were right. So the Master, I think he uses a tissue compression weapon. The TCE threatens Glitz into his TARDIS. We'll resolve where that goes in a second, because the major drama now is inside the, I want to say windmill almost, but it's where the Valeyard's tied
Industrial
up.
Works.
Industrial Works. Thank you.
Anyway, Mel opens a cabinet, and I find this hilarious. Just Mel opens a cabinet. There's this sci-fi contraption with bells and whistles and lights and shit. And Mel looks at it and says, "A megabyte modem." Yeah, that's a modem. Mel, by the way, you wouldn't know this from watching her stories, but there's like an obscure, like companion, like character document that they made up when they were making up Mel. She's actually a computer programmer. Yeah. And this is shown exactly twice in the series. When she talks about the megabyte modem, and when the Ronnie recruits her to do computer bullshit in Time of the Ronnie.
Yeah, that's about it.
So, yeah, just this sci-fi thing. Megabyte. What does that even mean? I mean, I know a megabyte is a lot in 1986, but a modem is just like, oh, it's a super data converter. It's just technobabble bullshit.
Yeah.
But with real-world terms that, mean things that we know. And
nowadays, it doesn't mean anything. Back then, I'm sure it blew somebody's mind.
The term maser is a real thing that the Doctor calls
Maser is a real thing, if hypothetical, but...
They call it a particle disseminator, and the Valeyard has a cute line about disseminate.
Yes.
And the plan is to blow up the trial room via the Matrix
I really
screen.
wish they hadn't called it that.
They're
really wish they hadn't called it that.
Yeah. The Valeyard doesn't trust the High Council to give him all the Doctor's lives, so he's going to blow them all up. And he's going to blow them all up by using this maser thing to disseminate through the screen that they're watching to destroy the trial room.
I mean, that's just mad.
And
so
Mel goes to run to warn them all to get the fuck out. And while we're there, and while that's happening, the Time Lords in the trial room are watching the Master, and one Time Lord comes in and is like, the High Council has been deposed! Insurrection is running amok on Gallifrey! Which is some real show don't tell.
Yeah.
Right there. I mean, there's some big shit going on.
They had run out of budget at this stage, so...
I would argue that it wasn't true, and he was faking it.
Well, either way, the Master is
Random
delighted by
Time Lord
this
was faking it?
because he says, "Now this is my opportunity to take over Gallifrey and rule it with a fist of iron." And so he turns off the transmission, and Glitz is like, "Was that really necessary to revel in it like that?" It's all quiet, Glitz. Give me the master. Give me the secret. So
it's the Master. Going extra is
of
kind
course,
of
of course, it is.
Yeah.
Well, he's gonna load the tape in, but whoopsie doopsie! Oh no, Zawaldo Toki Watamare.
I don't know the exact term they use for this, but I just call it an unseen force. They're pushed against the wall of the TARDIS by an unseen force.
Someone pressed the slow motion button on the VCR.
That's exactly what it looks like.
It was a fake. The whole thing was fake, and they essentially get frozen in.
It's either fake or there's a Gallifreyan defense system booby trapped in.
Either works. Either works.
According to TARDIS Wiki, which, as we know, not entirely villainous, they say it's a fake. But
I'm going to take that with a grain of salt, considering TARDIS Wiki.
But either way, this is the last time.
Take it with like a truckload of salt.
This is the last time you see the Master in this story, unfortunately.
You can get all the salt from the people who watched The Timeless Children.
So, the Doctor fucks with the megabyte modem and makes it self-destruct, basically. And so it's going apeshit. It's spitting out little pixelated CGI... Not CGI. Little pixelated computer blobs.
It's going full Palpatine and
because the budget ran out.
Lightning.
And the Valeyard manages to break out of the bonds and knock the Doctor away and try to fix it. But it's like, oh no, no, it's beyond control. It's going to self-destruct. And the Doctor runs away as the Valeyard
it's not
gets
going to self-destruct. He also says that it basically did like a massive feedback.
Yeah,
that it's all going to go into the place they're at.
He gets hit by a massive dose of feedback, which seemingly kills the Valeyard.
Yeah, and the Doctor runs away as the whole thing goes up. The screen in the trial room goes up, and the Time Lords were warned by Mel, and they just sort of duck.
Some of them run out.
She says, "Turn off the screen now, so we can't do that. Then get out of here." So the guards manage to escape because they're next to the door, but there's not enough time. So the Inquisitor and some of the judges just sort of duck in their seat.
Duck and cover. What is this? 1955.
Slightly dark reference, but I'll allow it.
I mean,
But everyone survives unharmed, apart from obviously the Valeyard. The fancy inspector goes kablooey as the Doctor runs away, and he saunters back into the courtroom. He's like, "Well, shall we resume the trial? All charges against you were dropped, Doctor, and you have our gratitude."
The trial is over. The trial is over.
Yay!
We're free. We're free.
And a bit that I don't like, they say, I can repay some of it by telling you that Peri is alive and well, and she's now Arcanus' queen.
And then they put the footage from Mind Warp where Brian Bless is like, "Die well, my lady," and they add a pink filter over it. Ooh,
not just a pink filter. If you look at it, it's a heart shape.
Yeah, it's the concept of love.
Okay, I got to tell you something hilarious. And Kat, you own this now because I bought you the trial set. There is a little special. I think it's on the Mind Warp disc, where Colin Baker and Nicola Bryant watch that scene, and Nicola Bryant's just like, "Oh my god!" And Colin Baker reveals that is the first time Nicola Bryant had ever seen that.
I need to figure out where the heck that Blu-ray is now because I need to see that.
Oh,
I might have that special feature. I might be able to send it to you.
Oh god, it's only like a minute long because.
Well, no, I want to watch it on my Blu-ray. It's just a matter of actually.
Yeah, and then you want to watch.
You've hit the nail on the head. Nicola Bryant actually preferred her original exit.
I mean, yeah, she's the one who said she wanted to die in Doctor Who. I don't know why they retconned it. I mean, I guess they thought it was too dark, as we argued in Mind Warp. It's pretty fucking dark. But I mean, the solution to that is, they're gonna not make the entire story dark. But that's criticizing Mind Warp again. Anyway, the Inquisitor says, "Oh, we're gonna need a new High Council and a new president. Are you up for the job, Doctor? No. Why don't you go be president, and I'll do my own thing." And just to do whatever you're gonna do with the Master, but go easy on him. He's not all And so we get the end of the Ultimate Foe. And indeed, as people didn't know at the time, the end of the Colin Baker era. Where the Doctor and Mel go off again. It's time to exercise, it's time to get carrot juice. And the Doctor's like, oh, carrot juice. Carrot juice, carrot juice, carrot juice. That's his last lines on TV. And, it's weird because it seems like they're just like, well, we're going to go travel again. Even though, Mel is from this Doctor's future. So, to their credit, Pip and Jane Baker in the novelization added a scene at the end where this Doctor drops Mel off on the planet to go back with his future self. So, she was pulled at a time from the future Doctor, and she goes off with that Doctor, and the other Doctor goes off on his own. And we get the first meeting of Mel later on in the timeline, done by Big Finish. But we get a stinger where the Inquisitor's like, okay, Keeper, go get the Matrix in order. And he's like, yes, my lady. It's the Valeyard!
He breaks the fourth wall!
Yes, it's a good thing that we're going to definitely see him again at some point, and there's certainly not going to be a couple more series, and then it's going to suddenly get canceled, and then come back after several years, and then not have him ever again.
So, yeah, if you want more Valeyard, a more definitive end of the Sixth Doctor and the Valeyard story, Big Finish has the Sixth Doctor Last Adventure box set, which is 4 separate stories, culminating in a grand plan by the Valeyard to destroy the Doctor once and for all, and the Doctor stopping the Valeyard at the cost of his own life.
And it's
leading
terrific.
Into time. It's a pretty good one. But in 1986, this was the last for Colin Baker because one of the conditions for bringing back the show for a 24th season was firing Colin Baker.
Oh,
he didn't quit like some other doctors did. He was let go. They kicked him out.
They didn't do him dirty. They did him absolutely bloody filthy.
And I mean, he even tried to ask for a compromise. It's like, look, if I have to go, at least give me, like, and sources aren't clear. It's either all of the next season or just the next story, the first story. He's like, give me that and I'll regenerate at the end and all that. Instead of coming back for the regeneration because that would fuck with his stuff. And eventually they gave him the cold shoulder and they put Sylvester McCoy in a wig. And so we got Time of the Rani.
He proposed to come back for one more series and then regenerate at the end, and they refused. They proposed that he do one 4-part story and regenerate at the end of that, and he refused.
Okay, yeah. And then Sylvester McCoy. And it's sad.
Which he now regrets doing, by the way.
Well, I guess.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
it's like, I don't blame him at the time because, like you said, he got done really dirty.
Absolutely not. He got fucked with. Why would you agree to that? But yeah. Yeah. He got redeemed by Big Finish in the end. So good on you, Colin Baker. And also, he said hi to me on the show. So, that's something. So, final thoughts on the Ultimate Foe?
It won't take me long. May I go first? It won't take me long.
Go ahead.
The trial as a whole is a confusing mess, so it's kind of fitting that it ends in a bit of a confusing mess. That being said, it is enjoyable in parts. There's some great performances by Glitz, by the Valeyard, by the Master, by Colin Baker as the Doctor. But you can definitely tell that multiple writers wrote this. There really is a notable shift from the first half of Part 13 to the second half of Part 13 of the Trial of the Time Lord. And yeah, I think I'd rank it third out of the 4 stories, but it's still not great. I enjoyed it despite its quality, but it's not great.
Yeah, it's fine, Like I said, it's a miracle it got in transmittable state at all, considering the backstory, but it's not exactly the most satisfying conclusion to the trial, but God knows what the satisfying conclusion to the trial would be. A satisfying conclusion to the trial would only come if it was better written in general, the entire thing. But for what's there, you've got some good performances. I mean, the Valeyard doesn't really make much sense if you really think about it. But again, you gotta go to circumstance and whatnot. So, yeah. That's an unfortunate end to the trial, but not as bad as Mind Warp. Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh dear.
Up until the point where we got to the Matrix, I was kind of fine with it. It wasn't great, but I was fine with it. Once you get into the Matrix, it makes no sense whatsoever. Who's J.J. Chambers? Why does anything matter? Because, there's that whole everything is real. No, it's not. As long as you think it's not, then it's fine. It's like, okay, the heck does that mean? I just, It's basically a really bad version of the Mind Robber, in my opinion.
I get you. Given the whole, I will say one thing. Given the whole, if you believe that it's not true, it won't hurt you. That makes me think of Moffat, and then makes me think, what would Moffat do with a story set in the Matrix?
Oh my god.
It would be better.
It would be better. I mean, because it's Moffat.
Because I'm going to say this again, Moffat's a better writer.
Yes, he is. Thank you. But, yeah. And I also wonder what you'll make of the Deadly Assassin, the original Matrix story, when we get to that. And its segment. I don't know how hard it leans into I deny this reality stuff. It's basically just a series of brutalities on Tom Baker for an episode and a half. But yeah, any more thoughts?
No, I think I'm good.
Well,
I just did not enjoy myself. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. Well, Kat, before we get to next week's choice, I think it's time for a little update.
But not that much one because I haven't actually finished season 3 yet.
No.
And Rain will not be talking about Symphogear today, but I will be. But Riz,
Oh no! Everybody run!
how can you talk about Symphogear? You've already finished the show, and you can't talk about what they haven't watched yet.
And you can't talk about it any more than you already have, considering you've written several words about it. Seen here below in the description.
Thank you. But what I can talk about is, as Rainiac said, I was on vacation this last week. I came home on Saturday, and there was a package in my mailbox.
And inside that package was a book called Back to the 11th Hour by Chris McTeague.
I wish. It'd be great to own her book.
I got it in there.
Yes, please buy that book. But inside, it was a package sent to me by a friend of the show, Danta, who watches from time to time. Good friend of mine. Much love. And Danta sent me this.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
He sent me a goddamn Yukine Chris figurine.
It's the second best girl. The best girl being Miku.
She's
Fight
beautiful.
me.
Also, no. Best girl.
No, it's Miku. Fight me.
I mean, I'm kind of biased considering that she wore the mirror Symphogear.
Does Miku say bang when she transforms? No, your argument is invalid.
So so this is a lovely figure. It's quite large.
I know where you live.
I had to do deep cleaning anyway. So while I was cleaning, I took all my figures off my little corner, and here is what it looked like. So you can see my little spread. It's quite nice.
Oh, I can see all the figures that I've gotten you over the years.
Yeah, they're all on the. Yeah, yours are all on the. Some of yours are on the left. They're the Ace, the Kerblam guy, the Pecco. Yeah, those are the three you got me. And but the story doesn't end there because yesterday, friend of the show Blaze Fury came to my home, and he's still here, and he had something for me. Yeah, so he had and he brought a bunch of stuff, but among them was this little trinket.
How in the world have two of your friends, independently of each other, who don't know each other, bought you Chris merchandise for your birthday?
Because they know my brand. Well, my brand is Kirika, but I'm not gonna I'm not going to turn down these cute little ukuleles, right? Anyway, here's the figurine shelf now, with the little Chris in front. And that's how it looks as of now, until I get the third Yukine Chris figure from Rainiac in the mail.
I'm sorry, you hinting at something?
I don't know.
I
like
how you assume that he's the one who's sending it. Thanks.
Well, I mean, you're sending me the life-size mirror.
I never said it was gonna be a life-size.
Anyway.
I have to go check something on Amazon. It's nothing.
Anyway, so
while you're doing that,
that's Symphogear update, but I'm not quite done for the show because I believe I'm up next.
you are up next, and this is to
Yesterday,
mark your birthday. So what you got for us?
Oh well, I've got a celebration. I mean, I'm doing my Doctor. So next time on Doctor Who Reviews, nothing to it but to do it. Sylvester McCoy in Paradise Towers.
Oh!
The final season 24 story we have yet to cover.
Yeah.
A series rather low on the infamous 50th anniversary poll. A season with 4 stories of varying quality, which I enjoy to some degree. And this is perhaps the most enjoyable of season 24.
I would say unfairly low. It's good.
Yeah. You know, but, well, the spoiler warning, it's unloved because, it's a little campy and silly and it's got jokes in it.
How dare they? So, let's wrap this up then, shall we?
Go ahead.
So, you can find us on Twitter at ReviewsDoctor, you can find me on Twitter at RadiantTheManiac, Jerry's at Freezing Inferno, and Cat's at Concave Usurper. Cat also sometimes streams video games at twitch.tv/Concave Usurper.
We'll start up again soon. I promise. It's
excellent.
Just new schedule, trying to adapt to it.
And you can send us an email at goitstorityourself@gmail.com.
You can send me Yukine Chris figures at P.O. Box. What? No.
You don't want to start that.
Yeah,
dude.
don't give them ideas. The second you get the mailbox, that's it. You are done.
I know.
And all that remains then is Jerry regretting his decisions and me to thank the audience for listening to us talk about The Ultimate Foe. Me to thank Jerry and Kat for watching The Ultimate Foe with me. I enjoyed us discussing this, despite it being not that great. And join us next time when we discuss something that's hopefully greater than The Ultimate Foe, Sylvester McCoy in Paradise Towers.
Yay!
Until then, bye for now.
So does this mean that next time I actually get to pick something that I want to watch, rather than being peer pressured?
Absolutely.
Yes.
There's Popperwick Senior, Popperwick Junior, and Popperwick Very Junior.
It's the same guy, just with different hair.
Hang on. Do you want that in the show? No. Not this bit, Rain, but Blasey just came in.
I didn't even hear him.
No, I didn't hear him.
He said he pre-ordered the new Neptunia game and came into the room with the laptop thumbs-upping and saying your order was confirmed.
$160 well spent.
Oh my god.
You are a madman, sir.
You are a madman.
At least
But
when
wait
I
a minute,
spend
limited
$100 on a
edition,
game,
that's
I get
new
like
here.
4 games in one.
Yeah. What was that?
Riveting interruption. Right, shall I go back from Popperwick?
Anyway, enjoy.
I'll enjoy it when it comes out October 26th.
Oh, yes, you will. Finish that Metroid by then.
Oh, I'll finish Dread.
Good.
Oh god, Metroid Dread. Yeah, that's coming out.
Next week.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to delay because I want to finish I want to actually play and finish the other Metroid games first.
Neat. So, where were we?
Yeah, I've got this.
3, 2, 1.